Hey Taurus, welcome back for another channel message. For those of you that are at a phase in your life where you are learning from your mistakes, you have something down to a science. I'm seeing something mathematical, like you have something down to a science. Getting out of situations long before you have physical evidence or proof that something is about to happen. You have that down to a science. So if you are a Taurus or you have Taurus placements in your chart and you feel like you can predict the weather, you can predict something that's not going to work, you can use the information or the data from your past relationships, hardships, situations, or whatever as a resource to give you all the information that you need to prevent a disaster, to prevent a breakup, to prevent betrayal, to prevent people backstabbing you. Whatever you use that data for, this message is for you. You'll know exactly who you are. If this message is for you, claim it when it does resonate. If it doesn't resonate right now, leave it until it does. All of these messages are timeless, okay, Taurus? So Spirit's message to you, the channel download that I got for you, Taurus, for those of you that are at that phase in your life, right? You don't have time for error. You don't have time to convince other people that you have this formula of how to get somewhere quickly, how to avoid pitfalls. Like, you got it all figured out. I feel like I'm tapped into a collective of Taurians that have it all figured out, which would mean that in the past, there was a period in your life where you didn't know how to either read between the lines or to avoid red flags. So you're a Taurus that uses the experiences of your past as a navigation system to help you avoid pitfalls, or you didn't see a red flag in someone, you gave them an opportunity, you went through the terrible relationship or situation with certain people, and then you had to come out of this two ways. Because I'm seeing two paths here. Some of you guys came out of a past situation with kind of saying like, yeah, it is what it is. I can't go back and change it, but I'll be damned if it happens again twice. Okay, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on, low the peace sign. Like, there is no peace. There's no coming back from that. So there's a series of events that has played out in the past that has pushed you down a path where you won't allow no one to get over on you or take advantage of you or overstep your boundaries. You are hardwired to avoid another toxic experience, another betrayal or whatever. For those of you that are on that path, hold that thought. There's also a second path, and this second path is the path where the person walks away from those experiences feeling as if they did not co-sign it. Like, they did not choose this for themselves. They were hoodwinked, they were bamboozled, they were taken advantage of, right? For those that feel as if you were taken advantage of, you didn't have a choice in if you wanted to be under that brainwashing. There's something about you genuinely do not feel as if you knew any better at the time in which these past experiences played out, right? And that's very well possible, but you just may not have any evidence to prove it. You may not be able to prove that someone took advantage of you because according to society or the rest of the world, you were a willing participant. But so, like I said, there's two paths. The paths where someone feels as if they were coerced, they were bamboozled, hoodwinked, and then there's and that people have gotten away with it time and time again. And then there's the other path where you were fully aware and cognitive about the choices that you were making, but you did them anyway. You just didn't choose to see it as a bad thing or something like that. You hadn't determined if it was good or bad for you, right? Because good or bad is subjective to the person that is going through the experience. Which brings us to where we are today. Where we are today is integrating all of those life experiences for both paths. So since we have two specific paths and you're being asked to integrate these life experiences, these life lessons, you're going to process it differently. So it's like, no matter what I say or what anyone else says, they haven't walked a mile in your shoes, and no one knows what you have really endured. Okay. And with that being said, we're going to explore both paths. Okay. Because that's what I feel guided to do. So Spirit, for Power 1, let's say not Power 1, for Path 1, for the path that I heard least resistance, for those of you that are on the path of seeing your past experiences and choosing to go down another path of least resistance by way of using your past experiences as a navigation system of what not to do. Okay, this one is going to be for you. In the present moment, you are being asked to integrate those life experiences, see them from a different perspective. Alright, so for the path of least resistance, we have affair. Okay. And then we have seduction. We're going to put that there. Alright. So this is the path where the path of least resistance looks like it does look like player energy. Okay. So let's explore the second path, the path where the person feels. All right, let's explore the path where the Taurians that feel as if they didn't see it coming. So either you were manipulated, you were told false promises, you were small talk. Some of y'all may have felt spiritually hypnotized. You could have felt hypnotized, but it's like whatever this person did or however that happened, there's no proof that they were strong arming you. You just couldn't explain why you were stuck on a loop, with somebody. You could have felt like it was something spiritual. We never know. But for you guys, you're being asked to integrate it as well. Okay. This path right here, y'all are really headstrong on the part where y'all say to yourselves, this wasn't a choice I would have wanted for myself had I known that this person, had I known that, it would have ended like this, had I known that this person didn't want. So you're pretty much have a strong claim that whoever you dealt with in the past was either trying to change you, trying to convert you, or convert you to their beliefs, trying to persuade you, so that way you would willingly choose it for yourself. Either way, if you knew what was to come ahead, if you could expect what could come ahead, I don't feel like you would have desired this for yourself. So which means either, I don't know, something happened. So show me the integration for path 2. We have originality in reverse and bluff. Whew. Now let me process this information, because this is a lot to unpack. Okay. I need to start with path 2, because path 2, your path is more complicated than path 1. Path 1 will move on very quickly. Path 1 will take those experiences with a grain of salt and still continue to wear their heart on their sleeve, right? But it's like I ran into a bad apple, but I don't believe that everybody's a bad apple. Yeah. Strong desire here. There's a desire to be loved and experience love. So path one, like I said, is going to always choose the path of least resistance. All right, somebody's daughter, somebody's son, grown up versions of them is going to this person gonna bounce back very well, very quickly. Path one is, and they'll use that information as a way to pick a better apple. Okay, but they're not gonna sit here and sulk or feel victimized by their past. They integrate it by way of choosing better, right? So every experience, they go through that experience. You see there, we have hearts, stars, and they just continue to date, get to know other people, move on with their life. It doesn't take them very long. They observe their specimen. They observe what it is that they're indulging in a little bit better each time. So each lesson serves as a positive, scale. They can weigh and they measure it, and they get a little bit higher. And then if there's a connection that they find that is out of their league or out of their reach, they will transform themselves, glow up themselves, and place themselves in a position where someone else will then have to choose, So whether someone is taken or not taken, if they see something that they feel like is something that they deserve, they will shoot for it. They will shoot their shot. And the way in which they would shoot their shot is definitely through seduction and affair. Okay? Makes the story more interesting. That's what I hear Path 1 saying. Enjoy the ride. Okay? So Path 2, this is where it gets, Path 2 gets a little tricky. Okay? So we have originality in reverse and bluff. I feel like this is programmable. There's something about this is programmed. Something seems, this path over here is operating in free play, right? They're not operating in like autopilot where something else or the computer or the program is controlling them. They're in free play. So a part of being in free play is, expecting to hit certain pitfalls. You don't expect not to have some bumps and fail, bad apples, kiss some frogs along the way. But over here, this is saying, you see how I was talking about hoodwinked, blind, which would mean path 2 is telling the truth. They were sacrificed. They were puppeteered. They were led straight to like the slaughterhouse. That's what I'm seeing here. And originality in reverse is saying that they still are, something else is still in control of them. Like they're not in control of themselves. It's like once a bot, always a bot. All right. Once you've been imprinted on by like a Jedi, okay? Think of it like a Jedi. Once you've been imprinted on, you're kind of like mates for life, okay? And so everything that path 2 will do, if they try to break away from the original program or whoever has imprinted on them. Now, imprinting doesn't have to always be romantic. Imprinting can also be, the way that someone imprints on you at a very young age, where it doesn't matter where you go in the world, you will protect and defend your programmer, all right, your ruler, your governing force. This would also mean that those of you that feel as if you didn't have a choice, and then that would mean that you're kind of like a bot. Because you aren't in control of your heart, your desires. You aren't in control of it. Therefore, you're being controlled by a outside force. Yes, an outside force can see through you because you're not in control of your mainframe. Yeah, thus monitoring spirits and stuff like that to sit on the sideline and just can't quite figure out why you can't resonate with another path. The path of least resistance is calling you, but that path to least resistance feels like wrong. Okay, so let's call a spade for a spade. So if you see a player or you see someone that you perceive to be promiscuous path to, for those of you guys that like you do aspire to love, you do aspire to have the fairy tale, whatever, but you don't want to have to kiss every frog to do it. You don't want to have to sell yourself short to do it. You have you want something that was promised to you the first time you met someone. You want someone to love you right based off of the way they imprinted on you, the way that they made you feel from the very beginning. They've also programmed inside of you to never abort your initial program. So I mean, it's like a double imprint in a way, because the fear of how you would be perceived as being promiscuous, a home wrecker, all these different negative, how you would be looked at publicly. All those negative fears will stop you from accessing this part of yourself. But if you are on this path and you feel like your likability or your ability to be controlled by another person is what makes you attractive, it's actually the opposite of the truth. The very thing that the program encourages you to stray away from is actually what is desired by the majority. And so the only way to y'all become the resistance, y'all become the rebellion. Now I will partner with people. Yeah, I prefer to be blind. I prefer not to know. So it's like those that try to get away from a program and wanted to like break away. They wanted to read between the lines. They wanted to use this as a way to control something because they felt out of control of themselves and their own identity. And so in that crisis in itself, under a certain amount of pressure, spirit would proposition a person like to flow with creation. All of creation isn't possessive in this way, where they have these types of expectations. And when propositioned with that, would be the path of people that feels like the path of least resistance is asking them to do something outside of their character, and it's not holy, it's adultery, abomination. And so the kraken, the originality, they would start to regurgitate their own spell, cast it back over themselves, and go back to sleep. This is how you put Barbie back in the box. And it's just off mere it's off of a simple trick. A lot of those that are on this path of coming out of cognitive dissonance and wanting to be more authentic with themselves, they were recently tested, and they were supposed to integrate by accepting the good. You have to accept what you consider to be bad. By accepting the bad, you have to accept what you consider to be good. All of it goes hand in hand. Just like I said, both of these paths, it's really one path. It's really, both these paths have the same agenda, the same desire, which is to escape ruin, right? Escaping one relationship and going to another is a way to escape ruin. It's a way to get out of a situation and find something better. Over here, pretty much using the things that you've been through and not knowing, and how you've been victimized by other people that you've loved and taken advantage of, is also a way to escape ruin. So if you are unsure, or you have trust issues, you're seeing it as a way to escape ruin, to avoid another person manipulating you. But it's also unattractive with originality in reverse, because everyone does that. So you would just read like someone that is either still hurt, or someone that isn't quite over the past, or someone that is looking for somebody else to rescue them. And this person would feel like, oh, because this person rescued them, they had nothing to do with it. That person chose them themselves. That person saw something in them that was divine, saw something in them that was special. And really, if a person were to pick this type of person up, it would just be to kind of like re-imprint on the original imprint, right? Because you can't override the original program. This is robotic, right? Controllable. You can't override the original program, but you can add to it. You can reinforce it, and it would just make them an even better person to control and manipulate. Either way, both paths are not liked. This path doesn't like this path, and this path feels like this path is discriminating against them. And so they will have different phases, right? This path too is paths that never take this path. This is the path where it's like, no matter how down bad they get, they never stoop this low to degrading themselves or resulting to this. But at the end of the day, this is like Lilith and Eve type of energy. Y'all have the discrimination that you guys see. Y'all have the same stripes, right? You're both jaguars. You're both butterflies. You just have different prints. So the path of integration here is based off of the life experiences. However, it hasn't occurred. The life experiences for both paths haven't occurred because it isn't registering as a choice. One path feels like they have to do it because this is all people ever want for them. Their looks, their sex, people can end up becoming obsessed, right? And so they're the rejected bunch that feels discriminated against because they are highly attractive and desired by many. And so it doesn't register as a choice that this path wants for themselves, because they feel like they didn't desire this. And so they stay away. They may stay away. They may avoid relationships or sabotage them. This is also the path where They may look for evidence that their person is going to cheat on them. Eventually everybody does, and so their fear, they may bring their fear to come to the light a lot faster by way of projecting that, because they have a fear of having their heart broken. Yeah, the Ace of Swords and the Lovers. That's the truth. So they do love, but they have a fear of loving, and it's hard for them to integrate, because as quickly as someone loves them, they feel like it's as quickly as they could begin to hate them because of the discrimination about who they genuinely are. So path 1, a lot of people may not accept y'all. And so when you see someone that's super infatuated with you, or they love you a lot, you may look at them like, oh, I could see that you're hypnotized by the apple. You're hypnotized by the nectar of whatever it is you think you want. But long term, eventually, you're going to want to change aspects about oneself, about me. That's what it's saying. If you were me and I was talking as you would be saying a person will tend to want to change aspects about you, want you to change the way you look, the way you dress, the way you talk, what you do for a living, to kind of like cage you in out of fear that somebody else will see you, want you, or desire you. And a lot of y'all, that may be how one of your red flags began in the past. You may have thought like, oh, this person just loves me, they just want me to themselves, but really those are red flags towards someone feeling insecure by someone else looking at you, desiring you, and wanting you. So there's that energy. Y'all may attract a lot of attachments that become afraid that they will lose you, and those attachments are hard to break. Okay, it really is. It can become a fatal love. So integration. Why were you given such why was path 1 given such a gift or a shortcut like this? Okay, so the reason why path 1 was given this is because through every hard lesson that you experience, you're meant to gain a reward. So you are meant to be stabbed by many, betrayed by many. You are meant to take the things that were said about you, bad mouthing you, the bitter discriminations towards you, the failures, you being treated as a doormat. You're supposed to use that as a resurrection tool, right? The sword that they stab you with become the sword that they die by. All right. And their sacrifice, they couldn't resist it. They couldn't help to slander you. They couldn't help to they couldn't help but to just try to curse you or try to call you out. Some of y'all severing ties with you. Some of y'all try to watch you hit rock bottom. Whatever attempt that they have to make you bleed, it's like you are raw creation. So it's like by the blood, right? They don't even realize that with every negative action that they take against you, it transmutes and integrates as a life lesson of a blessing for you, an opportunity for you. It will open doors for you. I think that because these people are like robots, path 2s are like robots or bots, they don't even know that they're being utilized as monitoring spirits as pawns on a bigger chess game to control the rise of that spirit that's been rejected for so many centuries. And so with every slander, every curse, it will hurt. You will go through the hardship. You will bleed out. That's why they say blood, sweat, and tears. But you will rise again. So you go through many death cycles every day. And many of you, it's spiritual deaths, spiritual attacks. But you, on the third day, you will resurrect. And the old version of you will be nowhere to be found. You will be like The resurrection, yeah. All new everything. So let's see. Path, and that, remember, that's the path of least resistance that we spoke about. Path 2. Damn, the 6 of Wands in reverse. So path 1 is this is the star. This will become path 1. The path of least resistance will become the guiding star. These are the stars that will guide the fallen. Okay, here, because we have the hermit. The hermit to the high priestess, there are two different levels. That you become the hermit. You go on the pilgrimage. You become the version of yourself by way of, sacraments, pilgrimages, separating yourself, stripping yourself from of earthly desire so you can go on a spiritual sabbatical. Okay, so you can connect to the high priestess, so you can receive that divine guidance. Now, this particular path here is saying that as long as you still have path 2, if you resonate with path 2, as long as you still have the initial imprint, the initial doctrine that was passed down to you, that was encoded in you from birth, until you have broken that and become original, to connect to your higher self, right? Everything that you do will be on a clock. It would be on a scale, be weighed, it be measured. It would be on a cyclical, it's something about clock. You'll be on crocodile time. How about that? I think that's the best way to describe it. And then bluff here is pretty much saying that you will be tested even more. Your patience will be testing even more, because you'll say, yeah, I want to do it. But like the imprint or the program is designed to do, it will try to make you chase time, or the shorten or the delay of time, as a way to get you, because so pretty much what happens is, you guys ever saw the Chronicles of Narnia? Path 2, y'all are like Edmund, right? So Edmund was struggling with waiting his turn. Edmund was struggling with recognition. Edmund was struggling with being the middle child, okay? And as he struggled with that, he often lied. He often, with bluff in reverse, you couldn't trust him as far as you could throw him. He didn't really know who he was, but he wanted to be successful. And so it's easier to, to exploit that program because someone else is controlling you, right? So the program that was controlling Edmund was, it feels like some type of imprint. Something imprinted on him, and he didn't, he felt lonely, and he felt like he was the only child, even though he had siblings. He found himself willing to sell his own brothers into slavery, sell his own sister into slavery, sell his own people for some Turkish fucking delights, okay? And so your spirit has to be tested and tried over and over and over again, because every single time that you become aware of how you can avoid certain pitfalls, or you become aware of things and where you can get it faster, or you can secure something with less work or whatever, just as easily as you were bribed to use that information that's given to you as a way to avoid integrating life experiences and developing into the becoming the hermit as you should. Instead, you would use it as a way to control, just like you were once controlled, to control others, to control the situation, to control the narrative. And there's no beauty in that. And so a lot of delays comes from this discrepancy right here, right up in here. Why should we let you in? Well, I waited long enough. It's been long enough. I've gone out there. I've starved. I've separated myself. Why am I not worthy? And the answer is in the integration of who are you. There's something about path 2 hasn't been able to really figure out who they are. And this would be the path that would easily slip back into wondering if they're even on the right path to begin with, if they're supposed to be even doing this to begin with, if they're not getting the success and recognition that they expect. And it's the expectation in itself that keeps this door closed. You got to be willing to die. The 10 of Swords. You got to be willing to be betrayed. You got to be willing to be a failure. And as much as it seems risky to possess this much ability when it comes to affairs, relationships, what it really shines light to, see what path 2 doesn't understand is path 1's path of least resistance is being held as a sacrifice to the high priestess. As a sacrifice to the high priestess, I will allow people to discriminate against me. I will stand in that truth. I will be between the pillar. I will sit between the pillars of light and dark to do whatever is necessary to be, the messenger, okay? The truth, the seeker, whatever. Even if that means that, and you keep wondering why the spirit never dies. It's because that's the path of a devotee. This is a path of, I went through hardships, and so I'm trying to experience God through detoxing, through abstinence, through all these different sacrifices, right? And again, if the star is not inside of you, if you haven't swallowed it, if it doesn't shine from within, it's something that you'll be seeking and never find. If it were that easy, everybody would do it. Everybody would do it. Everyone would be able to access these portals and these dimensions. It just is what it is. And people believe that, you have to eradicate pain and be this in order for it to work, and that's not true. That's not true. Doesn't it hurt when someone stabs you? So you got to feel the pain. Okay? The more pain you carry, the more purpose you wield. Those two things. You need your pain. Okay? So when people be like, I'm healed. Then if you're healed, you won't be on earth. If you're healed, you won't need to be in this vessel. All right? That's what I'm seeing here. Let's see. Yeah, there's just way too many earthly matters here. You see this? What do I have to show for? I've been doing this over and over and over again. I've been praying, I've been waiting, and it's not coming in. And that's because the purpose of knowing the future is not to avoid the pitfalls, but rather to unlock the keys as you go within and experience the pitfalls. Who's been teaching and getting people to believe that, oh, listen to me and this is how you prevent this? No. It's the journey of oneself. And even the Hierophant and the High Priestess is still there. So it's not about the works. Because the Six of Pentacles is saying this is struggling, but making it do what it do. Foundations falling down, people not working together. You can't come to the High Priestess and bid them off of a guarantee that you'll make something great again. And you haven't even asked yourself the first question, which is, who said she was trying to make something great again? Who said that was what she wanted? I feel like there is something about an imprint, a program, in someone's, that has been groomed in them. They don't even know that they are a hunter. They don't even know that they are who they're working for. And so the High Priestess will test you. Let's see if your crocodile clock can stand the test of time against pain and purpose. And someone is trying to convince the High Priestess that it is better to fold and have it another way than it would be to give so many people access to this type of wisdom, this type of knowledge. It needs to be kept secret. There's something here about the High Priestess. There's some type of council, some type of meeting, and the High Priestess feels as if whatever agreements that they made prior, there's a whole batch, generations on generations of flowers that have fallen, and they have just been programmed robots. Well-kept program robots that really serve no other purpose than the agenda of whoever controls them. And that in itself is heartbreaking. The High Priestess weeps for that in itself. When everything, so much untapped potential, so much, and it's like every cycle, every cycle that comes around each month, it's been used as a means to slow down creation versus to be in flow and sync in harmony with creation. And that was one of the programs, is just to make it makes a more productive machine. So in the future, in order to see beauty in the present moment and the past, in order to see beauty with the discrimination and what has happened in the past repeating itself, because this is what this is. We can use inductive reasoning that based off where we are right now and trying to integrate the experiences and the emotions and the desires in the heart of humanity, that we will create another series of events similar to the past and how it's going to repeat itself. How does this plan for path 2 seem promising for humanity and creation? It doesn't. When the high priestess in creation is all about letting go. You don't need to control or imprint. You let it go. All of creation takes the path of least resistance. Look what we have here. Charlatan. Charlatan that is convinced that they can avoid like the death and rebirth cycle by creating the perfect pretty much the perfect like the perfect person or the perfect human or something like that. I don't know how they have that in their head, but I don't even think that the people that are supporting and used, they are spiritually, yes, they are spiritually wielded and controlled by some type of charlatan. And the crazy part about it is that they don't even know. They don't even know. Straight like that. They don't even know. So for a lot of you guys, it's time. For those of you that are on a path of least resistance and you resonate with this reading, it's time for you to leave the nest. Okay? It's time for you to take off those training wheels. It's time for you to ride. Get on those brooms. Fly. Do whatever you need to do. Flap, flap, flap. Okay? Because you can spend your entire life trying to prevent ruin, and fear will eventually have you sitting around waiting. 3 of Wands. Sitting around and waiting for the proof that whatever you fear is going to happen is about to manifest. And that in itself is just to prove that you was right all along. So waiting around for the confirmation or proof that you were right, do this, make this choice to go down this path, may never come. But I can guarantee you, with the path of the high priestess in comparison to path 2, the path of least resistance will definitely get you fucked up. And it will get you experiencing all types of betrayals in any imaginable way possible. And it will hurt. But it will build character. It will build discernment. You will unlock keys. You will live a very long, you will definitely outlive, saving just a little bit of your pain each time for purpose, because that is what you resurrect yourself with every save. And when I see pain in the 3 of Swords in this spread, this pain is equivalent by a little bit of your blood. It's painful to be on a cycle. It's painful to give birth. It's painful to love. It's painful to exist. So everything, if you take a little bit of those experiences, just a dab of your pain, it will always guide you to purpose, versus someone else being a hunter and their purpose is to stuff out the light and eradicate your pain. So avoid charlatans that I feel like you can't avoid them, but you will run across charlatans that want you to believe that they can make the pain go away and that they are your salvation in regards to a softer, easier life. And you see what's happening to the rest of them on pile 2, because they don't want to be discriminated against, because they don't want to be pursued. This is high level pimping. Let's get your closing message. We back to our little book. For sure. And it's crazy because this is what the High Priestess Light Oracle. All right, High Priestess, where are we going? We have Brilliant Beliefs, 45. Luminous Life Force. We were just talking about the Force. Personal Power. 2 Snow Leopards. I know you fucking lying. I just said y'all all are... Okay, no, I said jaguars. Jaguars, leopards. Okay, no, leopards is definitely different. 2 snow leopards accompany the High Priestess of the galactic sky as she emerges from the night with a luminous ball of ethereal light. This priestess is telling you that, like her, you can project a brilliant life force energy out into the world. Her heart center shines with the light of her divine origins. The glow of her true identity encircles her head and emanates brightly from her brow and crown chakras. Yet she is no more powerful than you, for you have come from the same luminous source. So few people are taught to believe this truth about themselves. They believe that they are not enough, not deserving, or not capable of making their dreams come true. But these conclusions project a dark energy that brings unhappiness and blocks goals and desires from manifesting. This card is asking you to embrace your luminosity and remember your oneness with Source. It is this oneness that forges your truth and helps you heal your old hurts and misinformed beliefs. Even if lies about your lack of power and value have been with you for a long time, it's never too late to awaken to your truth and let yourself shine. This is a time of renewed energy for you, and the snow leopards are signaling that you have the personal power to overcome your inner demons. In fact, you are now capable of making giant leaps in reserving these toxic mental patterns. In reversing these toxic mental patterns. When you do, your brilliant new beliefs will manifest a wonderful new reality, and that will match the resonance of your own luminous life force. Affirmation: I choose to believe in my unlimited power, value, and deserving. My life force shines with the light of my divine source. All right, Taurus, that's what I have for you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.